na-asị na mgbe anyị mechara n'obodo a na-ala obodo ekwensu bụ uzu ga na-ama jijiji ndị iro ga-anọ n'ọsọ ndị ọjọọ ga-anọ n'ọsọ ndị na-agwọ nsị ga-anọ n'ọsọ ndị okwu asị ga-anọ n'ọsọ eziokwu Chineke ga-apụta ihe onye anyị ka anyị na-arịọ ugbu a na ruo mgbe niile ebido.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you're connecting from around the world. If you're joining from Africa, Asia, Europe, America, or Australia, wherever you're connecting from, please, after watching my video, go to the comment section and leave your comments. Make your contributions. It's all welcome. I appreciate you wherever you're connecting from. And please share the video. Share the video to every platform where you belong. Share the video to family and friends. Let us tell our story, the truth and nothing but the truth. Do not allow them to hijack the story and don't allow them to change the narrative. We will always try as much as possible to remind you of the true situation of things in that contraption called Nigeria. It is not well with anybody. It is not well with the North, it's not well with the South, it's not well with the East. Nobody is finding it easy in that very contraption called Nigeria, except the Fulanis who want to try to subjugate everybody and make us slave, which we cannot allow, and it will never happen. The Fulanis can never take our land. No matter how they try, no matter what they do, they can never take an inch of the southern part of Nigeria. This is their aim and their mission. Since they succeeded in pushing on their chief terrorist, which is Muhammadu Buhari, to be the president of Nigeria, from nowhere became a president. He just became a president from nowhere without any. And when you see them come online to talk, you begin to wonder, how did this man manage to be a president? Is someone who does not have any certificate to show. Even since he ruled during the military time and he was taken out, since then he has never attended any school to improve himself. He has not written any book. And all of a sudden, they woke up and go and bring this man, begin to paint him as Mr. Integrity. Mr. Integrity where? There is no single integrity in Muhammadu Buhari. Muhammadu Buhari is a murderer. He was one of those that murdered the Biafra during the Civil War. During his time as a military president, he killed a lot of innocent people. He was the first military man. He was the first man to kill a woman through firing squad. A woman through firing squad. He did a lot of evil. So many governors that he jailed during his time as military. We are the governors that were performing very, very well in their states. Governors that performed very well. Someone like Ibrahim Ali died in the hand of Muhammadu Buhari. Sam Mbakwe suffered in the hands of Buhari, and so many of them. Buhari has nothing good to offer, but all of a sudden they brought him and painted him good. They painted him good and brought this man forward again, and people begin to follow him. People begin to follow him, and all of a sudden, this man emerged as a president. Somebody who we know is a terrorist apologist. Somebody who is a spokesperson for the terrorists, spokesperson for Boko Haram. And today, what are you seeing in Nigeria? Chaos everywhere. Nigeria has become so insecure that there is no place. Not even his own state. Not even his own state, Katsina. No place is safe in that very country called Nigeria, because the person you have as a president is a terrorist, and he cannot do anything. It was the same terrorist that brought him into power. He used these terrorists against Goodluck Jonathan to destabilize everywhere. He helped to equip this very Boko Haram we are talking about. And today when he came to power, he thinks he can stop them. They gave him his condition. He has no other condition than to obey whatever they said. He was also the one, he engineered the coming of all Fulani from all angles to come and settle in Nigeria, pursuing the agenda of their father, Usman Danfodio. What do they call him? Buhari has become a key actor in taking the land of Nigeria and handing it over to the Janjaweed, and that is exactly what he has been doing since he came to power. This is the only thing, the only mission he has. They come even on the national television to brag about it. Don't forget, they don't shy away from it. They brag about it. That is why most of the time I try to play the video of what happened in the past for you to get back your senses and know where the root of the problem. For you to know the root of the problem, you know, when they come to the media, they begin to tell you they are fighting insecurity. We are going to do this to stop insecurity. I saw in the news yesterday when the channel television were showing a news where we are holding a meeting on how to tackle insecurity. What insecurity are you going to tackle? Which insecurity? Is it the insecurity that you created by yourself intentionally? the insecurity that the Muhammadu Buhari government created by themselves intentionally by inviting all the Fulanis from all over the world, and they came to the media to tell it to our face, and nobody said anything. You have forgotten when the governor of Bauchi State came to the national media to tell us that we are planning to bring Fulanis from all parts of the world to settle in Nigeria. You saw it on the national television. What did you do? You thought it was a joke. See it again.
To cultivate that culture in our people, while at the same time bringing the Fulanis in one fold and try to arrest their traditional practice of moving from one place to the other. And that is very big, an uphill task. But I think we can communicate with them more, because to them they don't have borders from Cameroon to Nigeria.
But that's the thing, Your Excellency. How do we ensure that those who will be participating in this federal government largely funded program will be Nigerians?
In terms of the funding?
No, in terms of
the operations.
Operations. You said to bring in the Fulanis together. We have Fulanis from other countries.
The issue of misconception, I said there is a lot of mistrust and misconception with regards to the Fulani man. The Fulani man is a global or an African person. He moves from the Gambia, from Senegal, and his nationality is just a Fulani man. And as a person, I may have my relations in the Cameroon, but they are also Fulani men. I have relations because from the maternal side, I'm a Fulani man. And that is why we want to educate people. A Fulani man sees himself as a Bayelsan, as somebody coming from the Niger Delta, because he speaks the Niger Delta language, which you and I don't. And of course, we would have to just take this as part of our own heritage, something that is African, and that we cannot just close the border and say the Fulani man is just a Nigerian or this. No. In most cases, the crises are precipitated by those outside Nigeria. When there is a reprisal, it is not the Fulani man within Nigeria that causes it. It is that culture of getting revenge, which is embedded in the tradition of the Fulani man, that attracts reprisal from all over the world.
If I understand it, does that mean that those Fulani men who are maybe domiciled in other countries, who move around, they can come into the country and this plan will accommodate them as well?
Yes, that's what we want to do. But it has to be done through sensitization, telling them you have to buy in the project, and you use the language, the culture itself to be able to convince them, away from the mistrust where the whole system of transhumance or pastoralism is criminalized. Criminalization of pastoralism is the problem that we have with this project, and it requires people with passion who understand them and who they believe in, people like us from that part of the country, to say yes, we have this. Because today there is no limit to the accusation that this and that has happened and it is the Fulani man who caused it. There is no tribe that is not that you don't have this criminality in, but certainly the way and manner we do it is really exacerbating the crisis and the problems.
Will there be any form of documentation of all the people that will be,
yes, we are
within that?
Oh yes, that is going to give Nigeria the opportunity to really have the best in terms of documentation in the demographics, because as I said, the Fulani man settles anywhere he can feed his cattle. And so if they are put in one place and they are made to understand that this is to save them and their animals, they are exposed to the vagaries of the forest and what is going on.
After the governor of Bauchi State said this, he didn't only say it, they invited them and they are coming. They came in. They came in with arms and ammunition. And when they came in, there was no place to settle them. What did they do? The only place they have to settle, what they have to do is to drive the indigenous people from their land and settle these Fulanis whom they have invited from all corners of the world. That is the plan. It is an agenda that is written that when you are hearing about insecurity or the bandit or Fulanis attack, it is a planned work, which the governor of Bauchi State came to confirm on national television. You are bringing Fulanis from all over. Where are you going to settle them? Is there any empty land where people are not, people do not own, or where people are not living in Nigeria? People are living everywhere in Nigeria. They own every land. There is no empty space in Nigeria. What they did was, when they bring these people, they kill the indigenous people in every place, drive them away, and put this Fulani that have brought into Nigeria. So many of villages in the north have been renamed. The indigenous people of the area have been killed and they renamed the city. A lot of places in Kaduna, a lot of places in Jos, in so many other places. The indigenous people are wiped out. They bring the foreigners, equip them and keep them there. This is what the government of Muhammadu Buhari have been doing. You think it's a joke? It is happening. They talk about it on national television. A lot of revelations have been made, which some of you used to forget. I will play this video once again for you to remember. When somebody came on national television, Catch on Onuju, came to expose them on national television, what they were doing and how they brought the terrorists. Watch the video.
In Katsina State, I went to Kwatarakwashi. So along the Kwatarakwashi Kankara Funtua road, I saw Hausa youths blocking the road. And when I asked what is this, they say their people are being killed and the government is not doing anything. I noticed that a lot of the headsmen that I talked to, they don't speak English. They don't speak Hausa. Because I said, Kai Mutumina, he kept quiet. I said, may I say, why is he not talking? He kept quiet. And they say, they should stop speaking French. And they say, tout parler français. He said, oui. And he starts feeling comfortable. And as we continue to talk, I found some of these people are from Mali, some from Mauritania. Now, what we are saying is, are we having settlements built for imported populations? Because as I'm talking to you right now, there are no Nigerians from Kanu, from Sokoto, from Katsina, applying to be moved from their current homes into bushes somewhere else. It does not exist anywhere in this country. So we see a strategy to import populations from the sub-region and then use them to displace and alter demographics. This is not. That's why the government, when they say they're suspending, I don't. If you watch President Buhari's his way, he employs Takia. And I understand the Polaco very well. So, yes, he could say one thing because, as the gentleman rightly mentioned, it's the same Takia he uses, deception. He said first grazing reserve. The country said no. He came back again. He said cow colony. We said no. Because the only thing in this game is land. The child is Jos. I go to Jos, I see people displaced. Why are they not returned back to their homelands? Why is the government trying to now import people to resettle on that land?
After watching this video, are you still doubting about the situation? Are you still hoping that Muhammadu Buhari is going to give you any security? You must be a dreamer. Those of you talking about one Nigeria, the earlier you begin to ask for a disintegration of this very contraption called Nigeria, the better for you. It is only a breakup that will bring absolute security to this contraption called Nigeria. It's only a breakup, not election. If you talk about election, election is the biggest joke. The biggest joke in that very contraption is election. Look at the election you're doing. How many polling booths do you have in the north? How many polling booths do you have in the north? 57,000 polling booths in the north and only 10,000 in the southern part of Nigeria. How do you intend to turn around things? If you do not go and betray your people and sell your people to the Fulani Caliphate, how can you be able to win election in that very contraption called Nigeria? That is why all the politicians in the southern part of Nigeria are slaves to these people. That is why. So when you are hoping on election, it's a waste of time. And recently, the Northern Group have come again to make another announcement that they have, that in the next 4 years, they have more 4 years. After Buhari must have left office, that they are entitled to another 4 years. These are the people who have controlled Nigeria. They have ruled Nigeria more than any other tribe in that very contraption called Nigeria. But still, they are insisting on continuing. The southern governors came out and said that the power must shift to the south. How do you intend to shift the power to the south? When the northerners have come out now to issue another communique telling you that they have more 4 years to spend. And they are now calling the numbers that are being concocted by the British for them. Those numbers that British have given them to hold us captive, to make sure that we do not take over them. They are calling the number for you, telling you that the North have, is it 170 million or so? Calling millions and millions from the North to come and vote. Calling them to go and take their PVC. Calling Fulani, they say Fulani is 40 million. 40 million cows. That is what they are coming to vote. They are calling even the cows to come and vote against you. But in the southern part of Nigeria, you know Southerners being the decent people they are. Being the decent people they are, Southerners always play decent. Election in the South is only conducted and attended to by people who age is up to the election age. They are the only people that vote in the South. But you are dealing with animals. The Northerners, where animals vote. We are not now talking about underage. Even animals in the North vote. How do you intend to turn the election around? How do you intend to turn it around? They come out every now and again to make some ridiculous claims. Ridiculous claim. Anybody, any Southerner who is hoping on election in Nigeria is just insane. Watch the latest communique that they issue and hear what they have to say. The Northerners
will present a candidate that will balance our 4 years before we go into rotation. But we are not asking for, like you call it, third time. No, we are not asking for third time. Nobody asks for third time. We will never ask for third time. We are democratic. We believe in democracy and we are practicing democracy. That was why we said politics is a game of number. And we know we have the numbers. We are 120 million population from the north. Then the Fulanis have 40 million in population. And if you put that together, that will give you 160 million. And you can, out of the approximately 210 million as in being envisaged the population of Nigeria, when you take 160 million out of 210 million, what is the balance? About 70 million. I cannot see how 160 million, I can't see how 70 million will beat 160 million. So we are ready for it. We believe in democracy. We are democratic in nature. We know politics is a game of number. We know politics, leadership is by ballot box. Leadership is by PVC. Leadership is by election. And that was why we are calling our people to come out en masse and get their PVCs. The 120 million Northerners should get their PVC. The 40 million Fulanis should get their PVC. Put together 160 million. We will elect another president by 29th of May. By February next 2023, we should be going into election to elect a fresh northern president that will balance the remaining 4 years that North has.
The Northern Consensus Movement has called on all 120 million Northerners and 40 million Fulanis that are eligible voters to ensure they mobilize towards 2023 general election and jettison on democratic leadership rotations in Nigeria. The group Northern Consensus Movement therefore stated that there is no amount of grandstanding propelled by the threat and intimidations either from the southern governors and some socio-cultural organizations that can change the remaining outstanding balance of 4 years presidency tenure for the North.
Southern Nigeria took the mantle of leadership for 14 years. By the time President Muhammadu Buhari will be finishing his 8 years, 2 term of 8 years, North would have served for 10 years, Southern Nigeria would have served for 14 years. If we are talking of equity, fairness, balance, and togetherness, then Northern Nigeria still have 4 more years to go before it will now be equal of 14 years. But nobody can twist us from the north or intimidate us or harass us or coerce us to think that by grandstanding or intimidation we will abandon our 4 years just because some people are threatening the peaceful coexistence of Nigeria. Northern Nigeria has a population of over 120 million people. And by this press conference, we are asking all the 120 million eligible voters from the north to come out en masse and get their PVC and also begin an aggressive but peaceful mobilization of our people to get ready for 2023 general election. We are also using the medium to call on to our 40 million Fulani brothers that are Nigerians to also reach out to every Fulani man that is eligible to get his PVC so that he will be the part of deciding who becomes the next Nigeria's president in 2023 as Nigerians that have equal right with any other Nigerian. And like we all know, in the United States of America, the Britain and other parts of the world, most especially in America, election of who becomes the president is determined by number. In most cases, most of the presidents of America are from North America because that is where the vote comes from. But in Nigeria today, we have forgotten credibility, we have forgotten about patriotism, we have forgotten about nationalism, we have forgotten about love for each other. All we are talking about is tribe, religion, or region in terms of leadership. We are not looking at qualification. And by that, we are being intimidated that because the present leadership of Nigeria is being led by a northerner, we are being threatened that the power must shift to the other part of Nigeria. And we are saying that we still have a balance of 4 years, even after President Muhammadu Buhari left in 2023. By May 2023, we still have a balance of 4 years. And we cannot be intimidated. We cannot be harassed. We cannot be coerced by either the governors of South-South or any socio-cultural organization into leaving our mandate or jettison our mandate because of harassment or intimidation. We are saying that we must complete the balance of 4 years to make it 14 years from 1999 till date. Southern part of Nigeria would have ruled for 14 years. The North will complete it 4 years to make it 14 years before the issue of rotational presidency will come. But for now, 2023, and who becomes the president of 2023 is still another responsibility because we still have a balance of 4 years. And even if the other part of Nigeria filled no, then every part or every political party should field in candidates. There are a lot of political parties in Nigeria. It's not only PDP or APC that are political parties in Nigeria. There are other political parties. Let all political parties field in qualified candidates. Then let Nigerians decide who becomes the next president. Let the ballot box decide who becomes the next president. Let the votes count and let the vote decide who becomes the next Nigeria's president. This is our position. This is the standing of North. And we cannot even be coerced or intimidated, even by our own northern governors, cannot decide for us who become or which region will take over the mantle of leadership. Nigerians will decide who becomes the next president. And as far as northern Nigeria is concerned, northerners will field in a candidate from whatever political party. We will field in candidate, and we will vote in a candidate that we feel has the patriotism, a candidate that we feel have nationalistic thinking, a candidate that we think is qualified, a candidate that we think will love northerners, will love southerners, will love every Nigerian, either at home or abroad. But we will, like we said, we will not be intimidated. We refuse to be intimidated. We will not allow anybody to twist us. We have our own people, we have our own vote, and politics is a game of number. So let the numbers play out. Let the numbers decide who becomes the next Nigeria's president. At this juncture, I would also invite the president of Arewa Traders Association to make 1 or 2 comments. He understands how to speak Fulani. I don't know how to speak Fulani language, but he understands how to speak Fulani language. So he will speak and call on the Fulanis to please come out and do their PVC. Get their PVC and get ready for 2023 general election. I am speaking for the North. This is Northern Nigeria, as you can see. Northern Consensus Movement is an amalgamation of 75 economically inclined northern organizations. And when we say 75 economically inclined, it suggests to you that this, as we are seated here, is the economic heart of Northern Nigeria. This is the commercial heart of Northern Nigeria. The organizations here are the ones running the buying and the sellings, the transportation, the movement, and everything that you know that is foodstuff, good and services that is of Northern to any other part of Nigeria. This is the structure that is responsible for that. Here, you just heard from the president of Arewa Traders Association. When you hear Arewa Traders Association, you know what trading it means. Trading means anything buying and selling. And then you have the Amalgamated Cattle Dealers of Nigeria. When you hear that, it means anything that has to do with cattle, from cow, goat, sheep to chicken, as far as it is something that is worth eating in the name of meat, it is amalgamated. You just heard from the Gan Allah Fulani Development Association. And who are the rearers? The cattle dealers are the ones that buy the cattle and transport them and sell. While the Fulanis, you know very well, are the ones that rear those cow, sheep, goat, chicken, and anything meat. And you just heard from them. And you also have the Arewa Journalist Forum here. They speak, they carry all the information that we are. So everything that is buying and selling, as far as northern Nigeria is concerned, is here. You have the groups of comrades, apart from the economic bodies of that are members of here. You have the educational body, you have environmental body, you have a women body, you have everything that constitutes. You have a woman here who's representing all the northern women that are. So this is a northern structure. We speak for North. We don't just speak for ourselves. We speak for North because we are Northerners and we believe in North. That is number one. Number two, I am third term. We never ask for any third term. We will never ask for any third term. The president of Nigeria has made it his position clear that he is a democratic president and he believes in constitutional democracy. He is a man of rule of law, so he will not breach the rule of law. What we are saying is northern Nigeria has balance of 4 more years. We are going to present, the North will present a candidate that will balance our 4 years before we go into rotation. But we are not asking for, like you call it, third time. No, we are not asking for third time. Nobody asks for third time. We will never ask for third time. We are democratic. We believe in democracy and we are practicing democracy. That was why we said politics is a game of number, and we know we have the numbers. We are 120 million population from the north. Then the Fulanis have 40 million in population, and if you put that together, that will give you 160 million. And you can, out of the approximately 210 million as in being envisaged, the population of Nigeria, when you take 160 million out of 210 million, what is the balance? About 70 million. I cannot see how 160 million, I can't see how 70 million will beat 160 million. So we are ready for it. We believe in democracy. We are democratic in nature. We know politics is a game of number. We know politics, leadership is by ballot box. Leadership is by PVC. Leadership is by election. And that was why we are calling our people to come out en masse and get their PVCs. The 120 million Northerners should get their PVC. The 40 million Fulanis should get their PVC. Put together 160 million. We will elect another president by 29th of May. By February next 2023, we should be going into election to elect a fresh northern president that will balance the remaining 4 years that North has, because the southern part of Nigeria has already ruled for 14 years. We have only 10 years. We have balance of 4 years. We are going to vote in who becomes the next president to balance our 4 years. Then after that 4 years, we can come back to negotiating table and begin to discuss rotation, and then that time we will agree from where the rotation will start from, either from the north or the south. Wherever it was agreed as at that time, no problem. But for now, we have a balance of 4 years, and we are going to work towards ensuring that we complete that 4 years to make it 14 years from each of the regions, southern part and the northern part. Then after that, we are good to go. But we did not ask for third term. We will not ask for third term. President Buhari is a democratic president. He's a man that believes in rule of law. He is following strictly the rule of law, and he has mentioned in himself, nobody should try anything third time for him. We will not even support him as Northerners. Even if he says he wants to go for third time, North will not support him. We are supporting him as a president now. We are with him. We will back him just like any other Nigerian will do for him. But at the expiration of his tenure, we are producing a fresh establish northern president that will complete our 4 years. After that, I repeat, we can go into negotiation and discuss rotation.
After hearing this, are you still hoping on this note? Are you still having hope that you are going to achieve something through the Northerners, through the vote? Are you still having any hope that election will change anything? After 2023, you will have the worst. If you succeed, if Nigeria still remain together till 2023, that is when you will see the real death. When you see the real death staring at your face. For those of you who are still alive, still have their life to talk about one Nigeria. If Nigeria remains one till 2023, that is when you will see death before your door, before your face. Then you can no longer pretend. You can no longer sit in the fence. You hear what they are saying. If you can tell yourself the truth right from time, since there has been democracy in Nigeria, so-called democracy in Nigeria, there has never been any time you have somebody from the southern part of Nigeria ruling Nigeria normally, or winning election normally the way people win election, or elected normally the way people have been elected. It has never happened. When you talk about Obasanjo, you saw how Obasanjo became the president of Nigeria. It was just a child of necessity because of the death of Abiola. Because of the death of Abiola, the reign of Obasanjo was a kind of compensation. It wasn't by election. It wasn't that Obasanjo won election and came to power. No. It was just a favor made to the South. That was how Obasanjo came on board. Are you talking about Jonathan? How did Jonathan come about? If not for the death of Yar'Adua, do you think that Jonathan will ever be president? Do you think that Jonathan will ever emerge? It was after a very strong fight that we were able to got Jonathan. So when they are telling you each time you talk about election, it is the only condition that makes a Southerner become a president of Nigeria. There has never been any time where a Southerner become genuinely a president of Nigeria. It has never happened, and will never ever happen. So for those of you who are still hoping on election, you are hoping on nothing. You are just wasting your time. Continue to deceive yourself. Maybe because of what you are getting, because of you are trying to protect your loot. You are hoping for them to make you a senator or make you whatever they make you, so they can loot your own money. That is why you sit on the fence and begin to talk trash, promoting the 2023 election. When you know that 2023, every election in Nigeria is a fraud. The data in Nigeria is a fraud data. It is not correct. Whatever number they are pushing there as the population of the South and the population of the North is fraud. How can you build a foundation on false information and you feel that it's going to work out? Building on lies, building on false foundation. And that is what we are encouraging people to join. May God have mercy on you. Those of you who are still promoting one Nigeria, may God have mercy on you. And I always tell you, a time will come when you will not have the opportunity to ask for either Biafra or Oduduwa. Then you will be in your grave. You will be in your grave. You will not have the opportunity to ask for anymore. For those of us who are talking, we will continue to talk. And we will continue to pray that Chukwu Okike Abiama will continue to strengthen us. Someone like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has made a strong battle and made a strong impact, waking everybody up, done everything necessary a human being should do. May Chukwu Okike Abiama continue to protect Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. May Chukwu Okike Abiama continue to guide Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Give him more strength. Give him long life and prosperity. Strengthen him wherever he is, so that he will join us very soon to victory. May Chukwu Okike Abiama protect Sunday Igboho, strengthen Sunday Igboho, protect the Oduduwas, those who are fighting for their freedom in the Oduduwa land. May the Chukwu Okike Abiama continue to protect them. May Chukwu Okike Abiama protect everybody in that country called Nigeria who is genuinely asking for freedom. We shall all be free. It doesn't matter what they do, we will all be free. Thank you so much for watching wherever you are watching from, and remember this. Bye bye. See you again on the next video.